Hi, it's Hazel, and welcome to my channel, Hazel Anaka Design. Thank you so much for being here. I do appreciate it. And I just wanted to say that in the midst of everything else that I'm doing, challenges I can't say no to that intrigue me, the catch up that I have to do, anyway, I don't want to belabor all that. I didn't want to lose sight of this blush colored journal project that I introduced. Well, I guess, I don't know, sometime in December. And basically asked you guys, do you want it to be a start to finish sort of project? And everyone who voted said yes. So, I mean, it's been a while since I've looked at the supplies, and it would be very easy to have this just fall by the wayside, not to be touched for months or years. So I just kind of reacquainted myself with the papers that I had, or papers and other things that I had assembled, and I thought I would do kind of a next step. And I guess I just want you to understand that there is no, excuse me, there is no prescription. There is no one correct, foolproof way to do any of this stuff. It's a process of, it's a combination of experience, learning from mistakes, scoping out what you want your final product to be, adapting to the materials you have at your disposal to work with, and maybe some blind luck. And obviously taking advice from people who know a little more than you do, which I'm not claiming to do. So in this case, geez, I'm sorry. Let's see if I can reach for something or other. In this case, I know that I have way more material than is required for a journal. I'm just opening a Werther's. So I'll show you what I've done, and to be honest, because that video was so long ago, is this a kid-proof package? Because this was so long ago, because that video was so long ago, I don't even remember what I said or did in that. But I'll show you sort of some of the grouping of stuff that I have. Let's just put this aside for the time being. I must have, either with or without you, and sorry if I'm repeating something that you've already seen, because I don't have any recollection of this. It would be classified as a tall skinny. So these pages are roughly 4.5 by 11. So in other words, an 8.5 by 11 folded lengthwise as opposed to widthwise. Cardstocky signature covers. And if all this doesn't fit on screen, I apologize for that. Okay, so in here, I didn't put them in any order. I just tucked things in that I expect to use. So that means that automatically I will be doing a tall skinny. So this is old wrapping paper. This is avocado dyed, just ruled paper. You can see that quite often the blue lines disappear when the paper gets wet. A beautifully colored envelope. Now this was just some loose scrapbook paper that I bought by the sheet, and it had, it has some waves in it because it must have been wet at one point. So, but again, perfect. A piece of fabric that has, this came off a I'm not sure now. Was it a pillow? No, probably too big for a pillowcase. Probably the corners off a luncheon cloth. This is another similar piece of scrapbooking paper. I showed you lightweight. This is gorgeous. This is a digital. Not sure whose it is, but this was probably a wallpaper design. Some music. Oh, these came out of that book. Remember, with the sort of that hand-colored look. So that's that. Similar, in fact, a complete duplication of what is in this one, what was in that one. Okay, so I have put these aside. I just basically have an elastic band holding it all together, keeping the contents intact. With it, I'm keeping other tall, skinny things. So that could be strips of paper. I don't imagine if I use something like this, it would be in very limited quantities. And in fact, let us just, at this point, say no to any of this. Remember when Betty Ford, was it Betty Ford that said just say no? And that was supposed to be the end of the drug problem. So just say no to hot pink. I'll still need that. I'll put this over here. So that's a strip of paper. This I must have turned into a card. That just sort of matches. This was part of a long, can I match this up? Right here. This was an ad out of an old magazine. I backed it with some copier paper and fussy cut around this. Kind of tried not to lose any effects here. I guess I could have gone a wee bit closer there to turn this into a pocket. So I'm holding all these things together. This is some paper from Stamperia, I think, that could easily, some of it looks like it matches. Long strips. Okay, what is this? Hopefully I could take that price tag off and cover the center. I mean, I would anyway, whether I get the price tag off or not. Oh, hallelujah. You've witnessed a miracle, people. The price tag came off without too much effort and did not wreck the surface below. So, I'm just holding this together, keeping all this together, because I don't know what makes the most sense. It's a good weight. I could cut it off at some point, make a pocket, and just do a little collage there, cover that up. These are also out of kits. And this is probably from this as well. At some point, I would cut around these and do something with them. Maybe they become the bases of snippets or something. Same thing. So this is all sort of cardstock weight. Then these are, if I'm not mistaken, these are just strips. These are kind of juvenile, like a castle, a frog, froggy kisses. But some of this will probably be usable. Obviously a thrifted thing. But some of the colors are perfect. So I'm just keeping all these longish items for use in the tallest journals, because that makes the best use of them, of course. Oh, I have a few more stray pieces that didn't get into the clip. And sometimes I just do stuff like that to make it easier to store things, knowing that none of this stuff will go to waste. So will put these with smaller papers, and we will, excuse me, clip these things together. I should maybe protect these guys a bit from harm. So the other thing that I have here, it maybe is within shot, maybe not. Whoa, it's alive, is, oh, I'll show you this too. This is something that I obviously dyed, but that is so bright and so not what we're doing that I would use this either for collage or something. So I still have it within reach. The other thing I was going to say that I made at one point were several of these things. And this was the one that kind of most closely looked like it could be used. So this is essentially, why that's so shiny. I can't remember what I used here. But basically this is just all napkin scraps that were glued onto here. So this could be, well, it's a bit wide perhaps for a belly band on a page like this, but the work has already largely been done. Or it could be, you know, pocket, or again, I'm just keeping it here with these items so that I don't forget to use it. So that's that. Now, I know that one of my subscribers, hi Deanne, such a clever, witty, pithy, she makes pithy comments and is funny, comments on most videos, and just a delight. You know, one of those people you wish you could meet in real life. Anyway, I know that she likes miniatures, as do I, but she wasn't. I confused her with another subscriber who said that she loves miniature books. And she has an astounding collection of mini books. And I'm thinking, well, I love mini books too. So just today, I clipped together a bunch of these little smaller pieces of paper that could work. This came from a notepad. This is a 6x6. This is a piece of used wallpaper, not wallpaper, gift wrap. This is gift wrap. I found this clipped together. These are obviously somebody's digitals and some tags. So I'm keeping all of this together because I intend to make a mini journal. I don't know if this is going to turn into the whole tree scenario. And for those of you who may not understand that kind of talk, I wanted to do a tree journal. So finally, I began a tree journal. And of course, over the years that I've been wanting to do that, the supplies piled up. I ended up making 4 tree journals and still have enough to do a few more. Thank goodness for my own mental health that every one of those journals was different. I probably would have to shoot myself or something equally violent if I had to do identical things. Sorry, just a swig of hot water. So I'm committed to doing a mini journal for whoever it is besides me who loves minis, as well, of course, as the tall skinny. But then, okay, what about a normal size journal? Well, this comes into play. And I would have shown you some of this stuff when I was doing sort of this, you know, the overview. I have several of these pages folded because that color works. These were a couple of somebody's digitals. Again, I'm sorry, I don't remember whose. this was some gift wrap. I took 2 pieces and sewed them together. This is one of those steps. I didn't do it for the longest time because, of course, you have to do some pre-thinking. But this, okay, pretend we were putting together a signature. So beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, plain. Beautiful. 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 So I don't want to forget to use it since I went to the trouble of putting it together. So that is sitting here with these papers. There is more of this gift wrap that I absolutely love. It has the stains from old Scotch tape that I obviously removed at some point, or it fell off on its own. This is some avocado dyed paper, or it was part of a pad. I ripped off the whoever's advertising pad it was. These came out of a notepad. Not so fond of that. I might tear it off, but certainly this could be, folded as well. So I have a bunch of these here. In addition, nearby, I'm keeping these doilies, these sort of ombre-looking ones. A couple of those. And then these, I don't know, can you see the color on them? Gorgeous. So, these are, and they're not as flimsy, probably because the center is so solid. They're not as flimsy as a lot of the white doilies are. But, they might end up just being, glued onto a page. I don't know what I'm doing with them. I just don't want to forget I have them. And then I don't even remember where this came from. A pretty recent acquisition, I think, is this gorgeous paper. Now, this, unfortunately, is the size of it. So what I might do, well, I could fold it like so, and layer it in here somewhere. Maybe that would look good on there. But I also thought, since I have a wee bit of a stack of it was a glued pad, I guess, I will need to change the thread in my sewing machine, but I will do some sewing off. I'll sew some of these together to just add a bit more. Oh, I know what I was thinking. I was thinking I would do it vertically. So make it like a top-loading pocket. Oh, does that make sense? Or I put the notch off to the side. Well, why don't I just quickly glue this? This will help me remember to do it, and it'll better show you what I'm thinking about. This is our glitter glue. This is impaired gluing. Oh, I just dipped that in the... Now, it's paper, it's not slippery. I could have just taken it to the sewing machine and sewn it, and that's probably what I would have done normally. But this is just a reminder. It does hold it in place to have a little tiny bead of glue. I will add some stitching very close to the edge. And then I'm thinking that I could fold it like so, basically so there's just that little flange there. You know what, I better punch that because, there's a very high likelihood of punching or of sewing it upside down or binding it in upside down. Now, normally I wouldn't use this circle punch, but okay, so this is a reminder to this is the top. Anyway, there's enough here to sew it in and to add something to, you know, like maybe an envelope or another piece of paper, whatever. So there's that. Oh, and I think if you watched, now I'm sure it was during the, oh, and I have these. It was during the 100-day project that I came up with this idea. So this was a gauze bag that I sewed over, or, well, let's start again. This is a piece of sort of cardstock weight scrapbooking paper, and I encased it in this sort of tulle, gauzy gift bag kind of thing. And then added this fussy cut from a greeting card. So that too belongs in this pile because it is, oh, it's 5 1/4. Now, mind you, I guess if I had to make it shorter, I could take 1/4 of an inch off or so. But it belongs in this pile nonetheless. Okay. Now this is one of several of these sets of paper that I bought. It was a thrifted item, and they are, I measured them a while ago. I think it was 8 tall by 8.5 wide. So obviously that is beautiful. So what I can do, again, same, no, I guess it has to be closer to halfway, because we don't want, as a rule, you know, that would probably be fine. And again, that's just eyeballing it. That's not doing any kind of measuring other than holding it up to the grid on my table. I think this is beautiful in that those holes add an effect. I could thread ribbon or something through there to make it more decorative. It's very nice that the lines are horizontal. I'll do a couple more of these just as a reminder. That's solid at the back. So maybe this one we divide. I mean, not divide, but fold right in half. What else have we got here? The scripty one is nice. That one is less nice. That one's less nice. That one's good. We'll put these others aside for the time being. So maybe I would commit to using one of each. So I said 8 inches wide. So if I folded it this way for just change of pace, obviously it would be narrower, but, or you know, another thing I could do with these less attractive ones. Let's sew 2 of these guys together. So I won't, let me just put a clip on there as kind of a signal that there's something going on here. So I can do that later. So these others will be folded in some way, shape, or form, either vertically or horizontally. There aren't a lot of choices. Another thing I could do, because there is, maybe I would keep, well, I don't know. I guess what I started to say was there's something very gratifying about using something up entirely. So I'll figure out how many of these I need for this journal. Maybe some of them, if I was short of papers in the tall skinny, I could fold them the long this way so that they work better in there. Another thing I have off to the side here, this is cardstock, so maybe this is better to be used as a pocket or something. Put that on a different pile. I also have several sheets of this gingham. It's 8.5 by 11 scrapbook paper. It's like only 100 years old. This was back when they printed, where is it? Printed on the back of paper. What does it say? Francis Meyer, lignin and acid free, laser friendly, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, depending where this gets positioned in a journal, this could work. So maybe I'll just keep that together. This is also wrapping paper, and I just glued it together. I should trim that because I see it's not quite flush. And this too needs to be sewn. So I'll put that with that other one. Oh, I guess I should take this one out of here. If I'm going to the sewing machine, I might as well make it worth my while. Oh, also have these ombre doilies, so they should stay here. More wrapping paper, but I'm thinking maybe I should do something different with that, so it won't become a signature page because it is, you know, fairly light and it's very shiny. This, likewise, I'm not sure I want that brown. This has some damage to it, but let's just roughly see where is 4 or 5 inches. So this is one of those that, okay, I use it up, never have to talk about it again. Or maybe if I did it this way, I wouldn't have to worry about that boo-boo there. So again, there are ways to, you know, something could be added there to make it a flip, although that would then expose that. It could be glued or sewn there, make it a pocket. Of course, it would have to be decorated. And then there's this. I love this so much. Again, somebody's digital. Not quite sure. I think for the sake of interest, even though I've been quite a purist up until now, I think for the sake of interest and depth and that sort of thing, I should include this. And of course, I could always search back through the millions of digital files and find out whose it was and print it again. Okay. This might, because I suspect that this is an 8 by 8. 3, 6, 7, 8. 3, 6, 7, 8. It's an 8 by 8, so I could turn this into an envelope. Yeah, I think that will be the plan for that one. Then the brown is inside. And of course, I do have, well, I've shown you this. This was a smaller pad. The lines have okay, that's coffee then. Virtually, on the striped paper, on the lined paper, the lines have virtually disappeared. So I'm not going to worry if the lines are going in the wrong direction for writing on, because they're so faint that So let's do some of these are, oh, looks like it's mostly on the one side, so I guess oh, that's a ripped one. Maybe let's save that for some other purpose and use this one. So we can use a couple of those. Maybe we'll introduce some of this, 2 of these, and you can see how it ends up with being a 300-page book. Slight exaggeration. It's just that when you start thinking about and looking through the things you have, and the things that are beautiful, and the things that would work, and the things that you love, it adds up. I used to, because of course in the beginning I didn't particularly think I was very good at sewing in signatures, and you know, it was always a scary process. Will something be crooked? Will you sew it in upside down? Whatever. I tended to make bigger signatures, and there are some journal makers out there, some YouTubers out there who do that. You know, they'll put as many as 15 pages into a signature. That, to my taste and to what I have learned and what I like, that is too big. I'd rather have more signatures that were smaller than fewer with more pages in them. Geez, I'm getting hoarse. This is my second video of the day. It was also minus 28 Celsius when I woke up, not counting the wind chill. It is a gorgeous, a sunshiny day. I wish that I would have taken pictures of the hoarfrost that is covering everything. I still might. Anyway, here is some gradation of pink paper. And I think I will not fold any of these until I know how many I need and maybe which colors I need. So that's sitting off in the wings. Don't know if I showed you this before or not, but is this girl not perfect? I think these were just end papers from the book. So I just have them here because they could be used to back things. So I'll put that aside. What size is this? 10. So this is, 9.5, 9 3/4 by 7 1/4. So I guess the best bet with this one, I mean, I could trim, but could I get an inch? Okay, let's see if I lined it up with the bow. Okay, if I trimmed, let me use a rule, 2 rulers. Where's my 12-inch steel ruler? If I did that and that, like trimmed it there, it would, I could get it down to 8.5. But I definitely don't want her sideways. So I think my preferred thing will be, but then that becomes too wide. Let me see. What did I say this was? 7 and something? 7 1/4. So 4 inches would cut her hand off. It is a quandary. And let's see how I can fold this. So this, I mean, you could see enough of that to know it's a scroll. I'm going to do that, we now end up with 4 5/8. If at the time I need to trim, I could take a little bit of this off and we'd still have the essence of the girl. So I'm going to add this to the tall, skinny bundle because then she stays intact. Okay. Also, this is the last thing I have to show you. I do have this beautiful paper. I, of course, prefer this side. And this, which is lightweight. So sometimes when I have only one sheet of a 12 by 12, or even an 8.5 by 11 for that matter, what I do is cut it in half. Well, let me rephrase that. I have a couple of choices. I could either cut it in half, which would be the easy thing, just fold it in half and you've got 2 pieces, which means you can spread it out into 2 signatures. But maybe, let me move my glue thing out of the way. Maybe what would be better is to, let's do it on the wrong side. Okay, 9 plus 8.5 is 17.5. I should use my longer ruler. Where is my 15-inch ruler? Sometimes 18 is just too much. Okay. Okay, let's think this through. 9 and 8.5 is 17.5. That means I would fold it that way and I'd end up with, and then I'd have a wee bit left. Is my paper straight? Yes, it is. I don't need to make a pencil out. I can cut it, saving time in the studio. I have a knife here. And then I'm left with, whatever that is, 3.5 inches or so. To use elsewhere. So it becomes a, there's that continuity. So sometimes I need to remind myself to fold it the other way. And I suppose I could coffee dye some of these backs just to take away the white. Oh, now this is slightly wide, of course, because it was a 12-inch piece of paper. So that means I can turn this back, a bit to create a pocket or a flippy thing. So for now, I'll just leave it and make that decision later. But that also means, what did I say, 3.5 inches? That this, okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Okay, it's just a hair under 12 inches. I don't know why they do that. Why do they do that? If it's 12, then make it 12. If it's 11 7/8, then don't call it 12. Because sometimes we trust that without double checking and it causes a problem. Okay, 3, 6. I'm just going to, this is what I sometimes do. because I love making teeny weeny signatures. Cut that in half. And then, well, that's still maybe a bit big. So then I just keep cutting and folding, cutting and folding. Maybe I'll leave these as is, because really. Now I've got 2 folio pages for the little mini. And if these are too big, I can cut them again. I could tear this in half and fold them that way and end up with even smaller pieces. That's a good way to use up your strips, you know. One day I should show you the little minis that I've made. Anyway, guys, I think that I'm not sure if this has helped you in any way, but it has helped me, and that I've done some more refinement of how what I want to use where. And it's given me a little sewing homework, and it has given me a better idea for what I have and what I might still need. One thing that I normally don't take the time to do, but I'm trying to get better at that, is thinking about what else might I want to include. So if you watch my me sewing in, doing the 3-hole pamphlet stitch on the purple journal, then you will see that I included some fabric in there, and I opened up an envelope, and that kind of thing. So I think I'm not going to be very quick, especially since I don't have a cover. Oh, and that's what I started to say early on at the beginning of this video, that this is only one way to do this. Some people obviously have their cover first. They either are repurposing a book cover, a salvaged book cover, or they are, or they made one from scratch, or they made it out of fat, whatever. They have something in mind that they have chosen to use as a as a cover, and then that, of course, guides, predetermines the size of the paper. In this case, this is going to be pretty standard. My mini will be whatever I choose to make it, and my tall skinny will be, obviously, is kind of a predetermined size as well, because I don't think anybody really likes the idea or the additional work of having to trim every single page. I guess the advantage of doing the pages, the signatures first, is then you can, you have a better idea of what kind of a cover you need. At that point you make the decision. Well, do you want something soft and tactile, like maybe a lace covered journal, like a soft one? Do you want a padded fabric covered book board one? Do you want it to be, excuse me, a paper bag? Sorry, this is getting worse, not better. Do you want it, are you using a paper bag, whatever, all those things, a piece of upholstery fabric. Whereas if you have your cover first, it predetermines, unless you're making yourself a new spine, it predetermines how thick your book can be. So with that out of the way, I will bid you farewell. I very much appreciate you being here. I will periodically pop back with more progress on these journals, and I think there will be a fair bit of fun to be had with the decorating part. I sort of was raised in a family, or there was a belief system among family members that you do the hard stuff first. You do the more difficult things first, and then you I guess reward yourself with the more fun elements. I don't know, is that good or bad? I don't know. Maybe it's kind of punitive. Maybe things are more likely to get done at all that way. So I don't know. That is all I have to say today. That's all I can say today. So thank you so much for joining me, and we will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.